In our learning lab today, we did questions 1 through 4 together. In our guided practice, we're going to do questions 5 through 10. And what we're going to do is we'll go over these, but periodically we're going to stop and we're going to answer some questions and practice, and then we'll go over our answers together. In number 5, we're given the equation and the graph of an absolute value function. What I'm going to do in every question is I'm going to underline what it's asking me for, range here, and my other keywords, set builder notation, which is the type of answer it's looking for. Here, since it's looking for a range, I'm going to start with my vertex. And here, my vertex is going to be the point -4, 2. So I know that my y value is going to be either greater than or less than or equal to +2. From the vertex, we go up, which means y gets bigger. So I can write out y is greater than or equal to +2 as my range. In number 6, again, I'm going to underline my keywords. We've got range and interval notation. So again, range, I'm looking at y values, that's up and down. So I'm going to start with my vertex, and then I'm going to find the point, that ordered pair for my vertex. It's 2, -2. So I know that I'm going to see -2, that y value in there. And from here I go down, so y gets less than -2. Interval notation means that I put in parentheses or squared off brackets, depending on if it includes the number, the lowest value and highest value for my range. My lowest value, well, y goes all the way down to -infinity. And since that's not a concrete number, we're going to use open parentheses for that end. -infinity, comma, -2 is my highest y value. And it does include that number, so I use squared off brackets. Let's try a couple more. For number 7, again, we're given an absolute value equation and a graph. We're going to underline our keywords, the range of the function, and set builder notation. So range means my y values, that's up and down. Set builder notation means I'm going to use my squiggly brackets and I'm going to use my inequality symbols. So from here, again, I still start with a vertex, which is -1, 3. And from that vertex, I look at my graph up and down, and I'm going up, which means y is getting bigger. So y is going to be greater than or equal to a +3. Number 8, again, we have our graph and our absolute value function. We're going to underline our keywords, domain and interval notation. Domain, if I forget that it is all real numbers, I'm going to look to the left and it keeps going. I'm going to look to the right and it keeps going. So I know it is all real numbers. Interval notation, I write the lowest value it could be all the way to the highest value it could be. And when I look at that, because it keeps going in both directions, it is -infinity to +infinity. So we write both of those values, and we use open parentheses for any infinity in our domain. So open parentheses, close parentheses, and inside that -infinity, comma, infinity. For number 9, we're given an equation, and it asks us which is true. The first thing I'm going to do, because I don't see a picture, is I'm going to use Desmos to graph it. So I'm going to bring up Desmos. I'm going to type the equation into that first box, which brings up the picture. And from here, because the first answer choice mentions range, I'm going to click on the vertex so I can see those numbers. So I'm going to look at my answer choices now. A says the range of the function is all real numbers. Well, range is never all real numbers, and the range of this function Well, it goes from 2 down to negative infinity, which means the range is going to be that y is less than or equal to positive 2. So I'm going to mark out answer choice A. B says the domain of the function is all real numbers less than 2. That would be the range. The domain is all real numbers, so I'm going to mark that one out too. C says the function has 2 zeros. Let's remember back to Algebra 1. Our zeros are the x values of the x-intercepts. So C says that the function has 2 x-intercepts. And if I look here, I see 2 gray dots, and I can click on them to get those values. So I do see that we have 2 x-intercepts, or 2 zeros. So C looks like it's going to be our answer. Let's check D just in case. D says the function has 2 y-intercepts. I see a gray dot on the y-axis. I can click on that. That's the only one, so it is 1 y-intercept. We mark out that answer choice, and we pick C. Number 10, last one. Since I don't have a picture, again, I go to Desmos. I type in our equation, and I get my picture. We're looking at range. I know it is not all real numbers. A says all real numbers. I'm going to mark that out. If I look here as well, D gives me 2 fractions, and it says it's in between those numbers. Well, I can look at the graph, and I can see that the vertex goes from -4 for y, and it goes up. So from there, I don't see those fractions. I'm not going to use them, so I'm going to mark out D. And from -4, y gets bigger, so it can go up to positive infinity. So I'm going to mark out C and pick B. That's it for our guided practice. Let's do some independent work.